Hello devs and aspiring devs, this is Ami Kings. Now in today's video we are going to be talking on working with DateTime Objects in JavaScript. In the previous video we talked about working with DateTime Objects in Python. So in this video we're going to be talking about the JavaScript version. See you right after the intro. Ciao. Alright guys, welcome back. Okay, so in this video we are going to be talking on using DateTime Objects in JavaScript. Now if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the post notification bell. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. So I'm going to be running my JavaScript using my node environment. Now to work with data objects in JavaScript is basically simple. Opposed to what you have in Python, which you have to import a module, then use the datetime class, right? So in JavaScript, it's kind of straightforward. Now to do this in JavaScript, all you just need to do is let's use date, and let's say create a variable called current date. Now all you have to do is use the new keyword and call the date constructor. That's just it. Now the date constructor is a built-in method in JavaScript, comes with your JavaScript, so you don't have to do any installation. Now once you do this, it's always going to return the current date. It's just like what we have in Python. Now if you missed the Python video, I'm going to be dropping a link on the card and also on the description, so you can just click on it and you watch, so you can compare how these two technologies do the same thing. It's still the same idea. It's just different method or different approaches, right? So if it's in Python, what we did now is liken to our datetime.today or our datetime.now without passing in the time zone as arguments, right? Again, I really encourage you to go watch the Python video to kind of understand this, because I really said a lot and open our eyes to a lot of stuff with regards to DateTime object in Python. So by doing this now, if I look at the current date, you see this is my current date. Now to get a date in the future, like just what we did in the Python video, we have two methods. We could actually pass in that particular future date as an argument to this date. So I want to change this, so I'll say use let's in this case, so because it's going to be changing. So we can pass in the desired date as argument to the date function to get the future date. So I will also change this to future dates using this as this D ought to be in caps to model the coding style in JavaScript, which is the camel casing. Alright, so to get that future date, I could just pass it directly. So let's say 2024. Now the format is actually the format here is the ISO format, which is the year first. Now the year, the month. Now one thing I want you to know that in JavaScript, the month is actually a 0 to 11, with 0 representing January and 11 representing December, not your normal 1 to 12 as with the case of Python. So just take note of that. That's the only difference now. So if I say 9 now, 9, if it's 1 to 12 calendar, it signifies September, but because this is a 0 to 11, 9 becomes what? October. 10 becomes November. 11 becomes December. Right, so let's just say I want to do 3rd of October. So this is our future date. So I want to go back and correct this to be using the normal convention. So sorry. Okay, so good. So now I have my future date. Now if I look at the future date, you can see it's actually reading what? October 3rd. Now I could decide to also pass in the hour, the minutes, the seconds, and the microseconds using the 24-hour clock. right? But because I didn't, that's why it forwarded everything to 000. So this is one way you can get a future date. Now, a second way which you can get a future date is by overwriting, is like taking reference from your current date to get the future date, like what we did using the time delta, right? So I can say future dates dot so now I want to overwrite what I have here. So let's assume or let's just say I want to overwrite current dates. Should I? So let's go. So we say set date. So the future date set date. Now I want to overwrite. So I'll say the new date. Now what I'm going to do now is to call the get date, which is just going to return just the dates. Just the date. Remember, the current date here is 2nd of what? August, right? So it's just going to return just the date. So the get date is going to return just the date. So I can now say plus 10. I could do something like this, or I think I should even use, instead of using our feature date, I could use current date so we can compare. Now, if I do this, okay, yeah, okay. Now, if I do this, now let's look at our current. Good. So if I look at the current dates now, you see that the current date is now what? Plus 10 days. Remember, the current date before was 2nd. Now it is now what? 12th. That's because I added 10 more days. So it's the same thing like what the time delta actually does. Now you can now proceed to make your comparison. So you can see current dates greater than future dates. I see it false. That's because the future date actually less than it. You can now basically now do whatever thing you want to do. Now, with using this date constructor is a little bit limiting. That means you can't really do much. Now, if you really want to go in deeper into this, you really have to now use like a custom module to do this in JavaScript. So you can kind of use like the date FNS, or you can try and use moment.js. Now, this is just how you can work with date objects now in JavaScript. Now, if you want me to go deeper into this by using date FNS package in JavaScript, kindly drop a comment, or on the community you can just draw my attention to it, and then I'll create time to dive deeper into the date FNS package. All right, with that said, thank you for sticking through